Hello and welcome to this demo video for the key management solution. This is a spreadsheet for those who have lots of keys, and I'm talking about keys and talking about physical keys for buildings. So if you're an office manager and when I say office manager, I mean managing an office block, or if you're managing an estate of sorts or property manager, and you've got loads of keys and different people are coming to collect the keys for various reasons and going off to different properties, this is a spreadsheet to help you. Now, I know that this is a particular problem. Obviously, most of us don't have to deal with this issue, so we're blissfully unaware. But those people who do have to deal with the issues of keys, they can always go missing, and who took what, and when did they take it, and who's brought back what, and it can become an absolute nightmare. So this spreadsheet is there to help you with that exact problem. So let me talk you through how it works and show you exactly how to use this. This is one that could potentially be a two-part spreadsheet. Everything works on one spreadsheet. You only need one spreadsheet, but if you want to use the second part, I'll show you why you would need it and how to use it when we get to the end of this video. But let me first show you how the spreadsheet works, because the second part is almost identical. It just takes part of this away from the main spreadsheet. So the first spreadsheet, you got your intro and setup. You can name up to 12 sites. That's very simple. Just put the site names in there. Let's just take that out. If you put them out, these zeros will disappear. When you put it in, these are all going to be zeros because you've got nothing else in the rest of the spreadsheet. Number of keys, number checked in, number checked out. Those will update automatically. You can just name the sites. So all you do is you've got all the different sites. If you only have one site, just put one site in. That's fine. Or if you've got two sites, you can name them or blocks or whatever it is that you might want to do. If you want to break it down to blocks and then put a few addresses per block, that's fine as well. However you want to sort it, you can see later on what information you'll need to enter. But essentially, the number of sites up to 12. That's all you have to enter. Don't put any duplicates. That's all. Once you're done with that, you're ready to go to your starting data. Ironically, you don't actually start with it. We leave that blank for now. I'll show you what that is. This is after you've done a stock take and you've been using the spreadsheet. Then if you want to restart a new document and you want to know which keys start by checked in, checked out, that's what this is for. But when you're actually using the spreadsheet the first time, just leave that blank. Then come onto here on the list of keys and make a list of your keys. So you're probably going to number each key. So you're going to give each key a number. I would suggest doing this. This is obviously the easiest way to do it, because then if you've got a number on the key and you've got it on your spreadsheet as to which key that is, it makes sense. So you've got your key numbers down here. The sites, again, you select which site they're on, and these are the sites that you put in on your intro and setup tab. Will be in the drop-down list. Select a location. So for argument's sake, if your site is maybe block A, your address might be flat 1 or flat 2 or flat 3, that kind of thing. It really just depends on how you've got it out. But you can put the address of the particular key. If it's an office block, maybe you put the site as the floors, if that's a thing for you. And then maybe the address might be the offices per floor. It really doesn't matter how you lay this out, as long as you understand what information goes where. Details, this is anything else for your anything else that you want to put. If you want to make a note or whatever, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't need the spreadsheet, but it's just some information about this particular key at that particular site at that particular address. Again, these green headers will automatically update, so don't worry about them. Here you can see the current status of each key, how many actions have been taken on each key, an action being checked in or checked out, and then how many of these keys are currently checked in, how many of the keys are currently checked out, and the total users. And as you add keys on here and the status here becomes visible, that will update these numbers, the values on the intro and setup tab, where it shows a number of keys, how many are in, how many are out, that kind of thing. So you've got your list of keys. Next thing you can do is a list of personnel. Now, these are people who could potentially come and collect the key. So for argument's sake, you can put in some names here. I would just put in a few random names. If you can put in names and surnames, whatever it is you need to do to identify the person who's taken the key. There's a contact number as well. A position, if you do have an office block, or if you've got staff who are coming and you want to put the position of the staff or whatever it is you need to put down. Again, it's not particularly real. It doesn't really matter if it's not a position. But all this does is later on you'll see it'll pull up some information about the staff member who's got the key, or about the person, should I say, who's got the key. And then you can put some notes, whatever, again, like the keys. If you want to attach a note for something, you can attach a note there. These values here again, the green ones, the red ones you fill in, the green ones will automatically update. So you've got the number of actions that they've taken. Again, this is because I filled in information already. We'll get to that in the check-in or check-out. How many keys do they currently have? What's the maximum number of keys that any one person currently has? 1. And how many people are there on the list? 4. So that's your personnel list of people who can come and check out the keys. The last thing that you need to fill in, these obviously could be fairly static. I mean, obviously here when you're adding in keys, you're adding them onto this list, but once you've got all your keys, this list might stay static for a while. The personnel list is exactly the same. You'll be adding people on when you get all removing them. If you want to remove someone or a key for just while I'm here, if you just highlight that, right click, clear contents. Once you've cleared contents, just resort again using these filters at the top, and you can resort them in alphabetical order and we'll get rid of the blank space. Same on the key. So keep those lists up to date, obviously, but those lists, as you may well know, aren't going to be changing on a daily basis. They're going to be changing quite infrequently, I would imagine. So the main sheet in the spreadsheet, the one that you're filling in on a daily basis as each key goes in and out, is this sheet here. And I've made it as simple as possible so that it's as quick a process as possible. You literally have to select 4 items, and those 4 items are here, and most of them are already in the drop-down list. So for argument's sake, I'm shooting this video today on Valentine's Day, ironically, 14th of February. So if I select Valentine's Day, 14th of Feb 2020, that's the only date in the cell. So essentially, I'm only going to be doing this on the day that they go out. If it did go out yesterday, you can type in 13th of February if you want to. And click OK. It'll say, are you sure? And you just click all right. But 99 times out of 100, it's going to be the same day. You're just going to select 14th of Feb. Then it says which key number, so you select the key number. Now, if you select key 1, for example, as we can see, which is currently out, it says it's currently checked out. So you can put the person who's bringing it back. It should be Richard because I took it out, but it could be someone else, in which case someone else could be bringing the key back. You can select who it is, but it's probably the person who took it out, but you'll know who's bringing it back because they'll be standing in front of you. So you select the key, and then when you come to in or out, because it's already checked out, the answer is in. So it's being checked in because it was checked out. So you can then select checked in. Let's just remove that for now, and let's go. You see they turn yellow when you're missing data, so it really is quite clear as to what still needs to be entered. As soon as you enter one thing, everything else goes yellow. If we say 14th of February, and actually let's say for argument's sake key 5. Now key 5 was checked in, so key 5 is currently in, so you can see it says checked in. And now if, say for argument's sake, Wendy wants to check out key 5, and it's obviously, it now says out because it knows it's currently checked in, so it checks out. So that is this one essentially. And now that you've checked it out, it now says, oh yes, it's now been checked out. So these 4 selections here, as I said, the date is already pre-selected. You just have to select the key number and the personnel really, and the in-out is going to look where it is currently and give you the opposite. So if it's currently in, it's going to tell you to check it out. If it's currently out, it's going to tell you to check it in. So it's these 4 that you need to fill in each time the key is checked in and out. Great. So now you know you've got your list of keys, you've got your list of personnel, and you've got your check-in and check-out every time the key's checked in or checked out. That's great. What else does this do for you? Well, let's have a look at the green tabs, which are automated tabs. I'll get to the data export in a minute because that's about to do with the add-on sheet. Personnel report does what it says. Select a person. Let's see what Wendy's been up to, and it tells you on that date, key number 3, site number 2, location 2 was checked out. On that date was checked out. On this date, key number 3 came back. On that date, checked out. So we can see at the moment, current key she's got is 2. That's those 2 checked out. Actions 4. This is page 1 for her. And here it just says the number, position, and notes. Those are the things you filled in on the personnel list. So it gives you all the information. This is the return date. So here, because she's returned key number 3, it knows when this key was checked out. So if you see key number 3 was checked out, you can see actually it was returned on the 13th of Feb. That is now referring to that return because it's married up the key numbers. So it shows you, just as an interest, these details, there's a slim chance in certain very rare circumstances these dates might be incorrect, but it's just an indication of the fact where when that key did come back. But the actual dates you'll be able to see below here when they actually came back. So I think that's all. If as you scroll down, you can see this has got a limited number of lines. If the last line's full and you think maybe it's gone into page 2, you can see here it says page 1 of 1. If that says of 2, then you know it's gone over onto page 2. Then you can just simply come there and pick 2. It doesn't match the restriction. It won't let me do it now because there is no page 2. But if there was a page 2, it would let me put in page 2. Just remember, if you do select page 2, when you finish looking at the report, do go back to page 1 again, because to find another report for someone else and then not realize you're still sitting on page 2 and nothing comes up and you wonder where the information's gone. So all you really need to do is select the person that you want. If I select someone else, for argument's sake, Richard, it'll show me what Richard's been up to, how many keys, and all the rest of it. So that's a report per person by personnel, so you can see what each individual has been up to. Sometimes it takes a while to disappear because there's lots of formulas going on. The other thing is a key report, exactly the same principle, but it's just per key. So now if you come and select key number 1, for example, you can see what happened. Richard checked it out, Richard checked it in, Richard checked it out again. So you can see what's happening with key number 1. If you select key number 2, you can see what's going on with key number 2. Richard checked it out in, and then Wendy checked it out again. Let's try key number 4. Sean checked it out. So you can see what's going on with each key. Just select the key, and the same rule, the page numbers applies. You can see the current status, how many actions have been done. So this is generally a report per key, so you can see exactly what's happened per key. Lastly, for this main spreadsheet is the stock take spreadsheet. Now, what you've got to be careful of is these are taken by key numbers and your current status, which comes from your list of keys. So don't sort this while you're in the middle of a stock take, because that's going to cause some issues. But you've got all your keys listed here, your current status and the personnel who's got them. All you do is when you come through the check, and if you're doing a manual stock take, you've obviously got the keys in front of you, you're checking through the keys, go through and check each one. So for argument's sake, the ones that are checked out, you probably won't have. So you have a quick check. Do you have the key? No, you don't. Okay, we know who's got it. We know it's checked out. You can generally tick that off as correct. If you come down the list and you go key 2, I've got it checked out as Wendy. Actually, if you've got key 2 sitting in the drawer and you go, well, actually that's not right. If you select the cross here on the same line, it will then go, okay, no, it's not. That's not right. It's checked in. It won't ask you for personnel because it knows it's checked in, so you don't have to put anything in here. If you come and you tick it, that line for that key, then it keeps it as it is. If you come here and it says checked in and you go, oh, no, that's not checked in, it's checked out, so that's wrong, then it's going to ask you who checked it out. Now, this is maybe where it's going to get a bit tricky for you, but this is a problem because you obviously need to identify where that key's gone to and understand what's happened. So really, hopefully, if you've done everything right in the checking in or checking out, these will all be correct. So you can just go down, tick each of them. You don't even have to tick them, to be honest with you. I just put those ticks in there so that you could see that you've checked that. If you do go through the list, you can go through manually one by one, tick, tick, tick. If you don't tick them, it doesn't matter. If they're all correct, they will be correct here. Then what you do now, let's just say you want to start a new spreadsheet. Because if we go into the check-in and check-out, and we go to the bottom, you can see there are 10,000 rows. Now that might last you a while, depending on how often keys have been checked in and out. That may run out at some point. So you want to start a new spreadsheet. So what you can do is you can save this one as an old one, use the save as a new spreadsheet, and then come through here. But before you clear all of this, do your stock take. So even if you don't physically check the keys, if you assume that they're correct, at least come and get this data here. So start there, key number, current status, personnel. Go down to the bottom. You can just shift control down like that if you want to, or else if you can see the bottom of your list, just highlight, select what you've got. Right click, copy. Then you go to starting data, paste values. Not normal paste. If you press normal paste there, you're going to ruin the spreadsheet. It's going to paste locked cells and it's going to mess everything up. Press paste values. You paste the values. Oh, you see that one's already done because I've done it twice. I should have only done it once. So now you paste values. You've got the values in there. Now, while you've got those values in here and you've got your old data in here, all your information is going to be wrong. As you can see, it says check, it says out, but it's checked in and it's all confused. The reason why it's confused is because you told it to start with this data and now you've got this data and that's wrong. So when you do your stock take, copy that. You see, even that says everything's checked in because that's all wrong. So when you copy that and paste it into the starting data, it's temporarily the information is wrong. What you need to do is come back to your check-in, check-out, select this, right-click, clear contents. Now everything is correct. So now if you go to your key report, stock take, you'll see that match what it says here because that's in fact what you're starting with. So now when you go to check in and we say 14th of Feb on the new list and we say key number 1, it's going to check and go key number 1 is currently checked out because that's what you're starting with there. So you understand how that works? So that you need to go through the whole process of starting a new spreadsheet by copying the key report data across to the copying the stock take data across to the starting data and then coming here and clearing it. Until you've cleared that, it's not correct and it's not everything's going to be muddled up. But as soon as you clear that data, it'll all be correct. And then you can start again, and you can start a new list, and and it'll know which keys are checked in, which keys are checked out because of the starting data. Now, this is where the second spreadsheet comes in. You may want to use everything on one spreadsheet. That's fine. If that's how your business works, that's what you're doing. That's no problem. That's how it was designed, and that's brilliant. As you can see, if you go to review, I've locked the page. I haven't locked the workbook. So what you could do in theory is you could maybe right-click and hide personnel, and you can right-click and hide the list of keys, and you can right-click and hide that, and you can maybe hide the setup as well if you wanted to, and you can hide the export data so that whoever's filling it in can just fill in this page and they can see the reports if that's what they need to see. What happens in the situation, let me just unhide all of these again. What happens in the situation where you actually don't want the person to see any of these things? And also the other thing you've got to take into consideration is, yes, you can hide them, then you can come to review and you can protect the workbook, but it's never 100% secure. So if, for example, the person filling in the which keys have been checked in and out, you don't want them to get hold of the data of all this information. You don't want them to have a list of all the keys. You don't want them to have these reports. You just want them to fill in when the key was checked in, checked out. So you just want them to use this page and you don't want to give the spreadsheet out to them. What you can do then is there's a second spreadsheet, an add-on, which you can, if you purchase this main spreadsheet, you can just request to us and we'll send it to you free of charge. It's basically that page, but with the data. So what you do now is you come here to this data export and you select the gray area. So you go from there across, shift control down, right to the bottom, right click, copy, and you come to this other spreadsheet and you paste values. Remember, not normal paste, that'll ruin your spreadsheet. Paste values, paste values. Now you can see it's got the starting position for all the keys. It's got just the first name. It doesn't give the other information about, or the name. It doesn't give all the positions and all that. It gives the sites and stuff, but the bare minimum of information. Now you can hide that page and you can send this, you can lock it down with review, protect, and you can send this to whoever it is who's filling in the information. So they will have the right things in the drop-down list as per normal. They need to select a key number before that will say in or out because it doesn't know which key you're referring to. But they'll have the correct details. Now if they come in here as the 14, key number 1 is currently checked out. I don't know who checked it out, so I'm just going to say Richard's bringing it back. And now it's in. Then they do this as per normal. What they can do now is your spreadsheet isn't being updated because obviously they're not updating it on the spreadsheet. So you're not going to have access to the reports until you get the data back from them. What you then do is you say, can you please send this to me? They send the spreadsheet to you. All you do then is you come in here, you copy as many rows as they've got. So you copy what they've got in that page, you come to your respective page, right click, paste values, and as you paste the values into your spreadsheet, it reconciles everything that they've said has happened with what you said with your spreadsheet, and all the reports are now active and you can see all the information. I know that might be a little bit confusing. If you're not sure about the second spreadsheet and how to use the two together, give me a call. In fact, you're not sure about anything, get in touch and I can help you. But I think hopefully this has explained it. If you don't want to use a second spreadsheet, you don't have to. You can just do it on the first one. But if you specifically want to give someone the job of completing this information and you don't want them to have access to the rest of the spreadsheet, you can use the second part. So I hope that all makes sense. And if this is you and this is for your business, I really do hope that it helps you. If you need a key management type of solution and you're interested in this, but this one doesn't quite fit your processes or whatever else it is, get in touch and let's see if we can make a bespoke version. But if this is going to help you, I wish you all the best in your business. Thank you and goodbye.